Media. Ba bum ba bum bum ba bum bum ba bum. Penny Wrenn Media. Sent it to ba bum ba ba bum. Penny Wrenn Media. Sunny nani nani here. Penny Wrenn Media. Penny Wrenn Media. Penny Wrenn Media.
Good evening. I'm Penny Wrenn, and this is a quick episode to promote the live stream on July 4th from 12 a.m. to 11:59 p.m. This is the run-up to my debut of 101 Ideas for America. And today we're going to talk about idea number TBD, Power 2026. And we're also going to take a preview of the Power 2026 website and the existing 101 Ideas website. So here we go. This is me talking about the origin of Power 2026 as a civic idea inspired by Project 2025, which was a national publication from the National Heritage Foundation, a Republican-leaning organization. You might remember when Taraji P. Henson shouted it out on an award show.
Y'all, you better show up and show out with them ballots. I'm being serious now. I know I look good, but it's a serious time. I need y'all to listen. Show up and show out when it's time to vote, because it's not just about the presidential election, you guys. It's time for us to play chess, not checkers. It's about making decisions that will affect us as human beings, our careers, our next generations to come. Pay attention. It's not a secret. Look it up. They are attacking our most vulnerable citizens. The Project 2025 plan is not a game. Look it up.
Have a live transcript of it. Now, where was I? I was showing you the Power 2026 website. I was saying that I devised it as a response to Project 2025 because I, like Taraji P. Henson, felt like this is not a game. When I provide the episode about Power 2026, I will make sure to show the origin of the phrase in the context of Project 2025. I believe that it's referred to throughout at some point in this website. It's definitely as part of the input. So this website was created simply with my typing and dictating to one or more AI systems or platform technologies, right? So when I say that, I mean either ChatGPT or Claude or what still exists as OpenClaw, CLAW, Claw. And those were all three software that you could download to your device and would do what I'm doing right here, which is using natural language. When I say using natural language, I literally mean the actual just words that I speak naturally, and would use the language to create the output. And the output, it can be more than just a conversation. The output can literally be a website or a demo of a website or product. So, for example, one of the things that I made today was a prototype. Oh, gosh. I'm sorry. I meant to search. Was a prototype of what I call secret sauce as a software. And to me, right, that means this was inspired by, I was listening to The Daily, a New York Times podcast, and they were talking all about the what do you call them? They were talking about the circumstances behind Jeffrey Epstein's death and the failures, the foreseeable failures, right, of the institutional systems, right, that were charged with, keeping him secure and as a detainee and a prisoner. Yet he, on, quote, their watch, meaning the federal government's watch, because it was a federal prison, on their watch, he still committed suicide. And the evidence, right, the entire episode is about that the preponderance of evidence now strongly suggests, like the preponderance of evidence tells us that it is more likely than not that Epstein committed suicide, according to this episode. And I'm not saying according to this episode because I disagree. I have no say in the matter. But I do have strong opinions about how we talk about and think about foreseeable failures. And like Taraji P. Henson, I think, too, that this is not a game, so much so that when the media talks about foreseeable failures as an incompetence of an entire system, and also takes great pains, like is happening in the episode that I'm talking about. They were speaking of the prison guards who were asleep on the job. They were speaking of chronic understaffing. They were speaking of federal prosecutors who had long known that understaffing was likely to cost either money or an inmate's life, right? That these are documented gaps in the what makes this work feedback loop system. And so when the host of this podcast says that it was, quote, incompetence, right, that led to such a foreseeable failure as Jeffrey Epstein's suicide, because it's foreseeable in that there are details that we find out in the episode letting us know that as soon as he was admitted into the jail, there was an employee who made a note that he needed to be seen by a psychologist because he looked distraught to a level that was distressing to her. I'm left listening to that episode and stopping every 5 minutes, one, to record a segment of it because I want to build out a fuller episode, right, for 101 Ideas. Remember, I have to fill 24 hours worth of content, so I'm building it out hour by hour and planning what digital artifact or digital asset I'm going to build as a proof of concept for the idea as part of the hour of content itself. So the idea that I'm talking about now is secret sauce as a service. And I was developing, playing around with the digital artifact or digital asset that ultimately will represent this idea. And there might be more than one. Like I said, I think of this as ideas number 20 through 35. But this one is partly inspired by that Epstein episode, where I'm thinking there's just so much latent value and opportunity to problem solve with the human inputs in these ecosystems. Like, what if you did, if you empowered the guard to build, to use AI, to leverage AI, to rethink and reimagine staffing with the existing funds that this prison system already has. See, we have this way of saying things are impossible without ever really deploying computational logic to explore the possibilities. And when you look at a plan like Project 2025, all I see is one or two people who didn't like the way some legal decisions worked out recently or worked out 50, 60, 70 years ago, and have dedicated their legal activist minds to reverse engineering another outcome that they believe would be better suited to them or to their interpretation of America. We can't just talk about the problems of the 2025s, the Project 2025s, when it comes time to go to the ballot. AI, to me, creates a real world, real time put up or shut up opportunity for individuals, people like me, to use AI to say, hey, wait a minute. I want to be a part of, one, making sure I'm making a great living for myself, and two, making sure that my living that I make for myself might also help improve the living and livelihoods of someone else. Now, how do I do that? I'm not trying to do it like be a charitable giver, but I feel like if I take more time to apply my creative problem solving, editorial strategy thinking, that I might even be able to think about, hey, a way that a company like OpenAI or Anthropic or, God forbid, Jeff Bezos himself were to invest such a small fraction of the money that they already deploy to AI innovation, to AI disruption. And if they were to apply it to little old me, that little old me might be able to create the website or the playbook that could empower the prison guard or the other person working in the prison industrial complex to start thinking through the startups, the new companies of the future that not only prevent reporting that talks about what I'm going to call false incompetence, but that also at the same time will even point out how to improve media coverage of how we even talk about these things in the first place. So now where was I? Okay. So this is the Power 2026 website as it is right now. There are civic actions that are prescriptions here. Number one, register, then remind 3 people. Of course, this is about voter registration as infrastructure. Some of these ideas are ideas that the AI imposed on me. I actually have more complicated feelings about voter registration. I have not edited or fine-tuned this website yet for the actual broadcast. So note to self, either improve the website or refine the script for talking about the Power 2026 website, because I am recording right now. I love this. Action number 10, name what's actually happening. Refuse euphemism. When power is being consolidated, say so. When rights are being eroded, name them. Language is civic infrastructure too. This really reminds me of another podcast that I was listening to. Oh my gosh, it was the New York Times, The Daily, once again. So there is an entire through line that you'll see on the day of July 4th. Because the through line is from an editor, from a former editor at heart, from a journalist at heart, to journalists that there needs to be another layer, another kind of marketplace of journalist inputs for those of us who are neither social media creators because we prefer to be pre-funded by institutional income, whether like through organizations. And, so if we're not employed by the New York Times, there's got to be another layer of employment here. I believe that there is. I talk about that in 101 Ideas. I will name particular payer groups and individuals who I believe can invest in people like me and a bunch of folks I know or know about, which I can discuss on July 4th. To create more media on top of the existing layer of media. So, mommy, think of Midas Touch as if Midas Touch were being reverse engineered, right, for, I don't know, Andy Cohen's network. And I were to pitch Andy Cohen on the reality TV show version of left-wing political commentary that's nothing but a former journalist talking back to the New York Times episodes of podcasts and videos. That's literally a layer of content that can make money, especially if it has just a hint, just a little sprinkle of institutional income behind it. Okay, so that's the Power 2026 website. And you know what? I said I would also talk about, the 101 Ideas website. The 101 Ideas website. Let me show you that too. I think it's 101freeideas.com. I think that's it. Yep, here it is. 101freeideas.com. Also, the site says not secure. And that's because I did not fix the security certificate. You need a security certificate for your website URLs. Let me figure out. I forget what URL stands for. So I often say IRL, which stands for in real life, and URL, which stands for the uniform resource locator, which is the unique web address used to locate and access specific resources on the internet. So www.bravo.com, www.aol.com. That is a URL, a uniform resource locator. So I believe we live our lives on two planes, IRL, in real life, and URL, unreal life. Or what could we call it? What's another U word? Uniquely rallying loosely. Anyway, or URL, which is just to say online, just online. So in real life, URL, IRL, URL, in real life and online. Okay, so the URL for 101 Ideas for America is 101freeideas.com. Now, here's something interesting I'm going to point out for myself. Either, one, I need to update the branding for 101 Ideas for America on my Instagram, because currently it looks a lot different than this. Or I need to update the URL, the website here, not the URL itself, but the website content here, so that it more accurately reflects the branding that's on Instagram and Facebook. I'll take a poll. Tell me if you're a viewer of this, if you happen to view this and you have my text message, you know how to reach me by text message or phone, or even message me. Which do you think I should do? Should I keep this, or should I use the branding that I have on Instagram or Facebook? So while you're watching, just pick up your phone or whatever device you're not watching on quickly and go look and tell me. So this is what I have so far. I'm pretty sure that these are all the ideas. I haven't built out all of the full URL extensions. So when I say that, I mean, ultimately, I'm working up to 101freeideas.com / IRL-URL, and that is the idea that captures how more Americans can leverage AI as an asset that helps them access the hybridity, like the best of both worlds of their IRL selves and their URL selves. So their in real life selves and their online selves. And that is really what I'm talking about, even when I'm saying the secret sauce as a service, offering myself up, right, to someone like Andy Cohen, who has his own network, who would work like a, how book publishers have book imprints, who would work like a book imprint or like a, the record companies, when you're a recording artist and you sign a contract with a record company, often part of those contracts includes you get your own imprint, you get your own label, which is you get your own pathway to bring more artists in behind you. So for example, Beyonce has her own label, and I think it's through Sony. I could be wrong. And that's through that she brought on Chloe and Halle. You know Chloe and Halle. These girls, Chloe and Halle, the singers with the locks, they're so gorgeous. They're amazing. I love this song too. I love Do It.
I didn't even think
Oh my gosh, here we go again with the commercials, huh?
Talk to your doctor today.
What's happening? Oh, well, you know what? We're just not going to do it. Okay, we're not going to do it. Okay, I already said, note to self, remember to, I'm going to do the content that way. Cool. I've learned. So anyway, this is the 101 Ideas website. The binder project, I talk about there's a life binder that I imagine someone selling on QVC, Susie Orman style. That is completely based on this here book called Teen Works that my sister Amy used to subscribe to. And this was basically a mail order magazine that would send you like 3 to 4 pages per divider every month. And you would add those pages into your binder. Now, I foresee being able to replicate a binder like this for families, for groups of friends, for individuals. And you can do it easily with AI. And the person would be doing it in the background, similarly to how I will interact with ChatGPT. And instead of just having all of your chats with an AI locked up in the platform itself, you would be able to pull from these threads and have it inform your your own how-to advice for your life. So here, obviously this is for teenagers. So there's boys, there's fashion and more. So this is another build for 101 free ideas for America. And why free? Why do I say free? Because the risk of building out loud means that you're kind of giving things away while you're building them at the same time. And I have nothing to lose because I think of myself as an idea machine. So, and if one of them hits, then guess what? I at least have the DNA and the footprint of the idea as a proof point for Penny Wrenn Media that I bring value to the marketplace. So,
Penny Wrenn Media.
I forgot to say, Tune in tomorrow.
Media, ba bum ba bum bum ba bum bum ba bum. Penny Wrenn Media, sent it to ba bum ba ba ba. Penny Wrenn Media, sunny nani nani here. Penny Wrenn Media, Penny Wrenn Media, Penny Wrenn Media.